Welcome.
Welcome.
Got a another story from r/nosleep today. It's called "I Went Hunting Inside a Radiation Test Zone. Now Something is Hunting Me." It's also by ElliotPryce.
This one sounds pretty cool. It's a little shorter. Ben picked this one again.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I want to know what the fuck he's hunting.
I also want to figure that out.
Ben, take it away.
So there I was, aiming my rifle at a spot on the tree line, when out comes this three-eyed buck. It was dipping its head low, skimming its nose along the grass. I peeked out from behind an oak tree about 150 yards back, at a slight incline. I was stunned. All I could do was watch. The buck found its spot and began nibbling at the grass, while its natural eyes focused on what it was eating. Its third eye rolled around inside its socket, back and forth, scanning its surroundings. It even blinked at its own rate. It was an incredible genetic mutation, the exact kind of thing I was looking for.
It reminds me of somebody you went to high school with. It has like that perfect genetic
Stefan?
mutation. No.
You sure it's not Stefan, bro? You
No.
ripped the binder in half.
No,
Yeah,
Stefan was a beautiful man. I don't know what you're
he
talking
was.
about. I was laying flat on the ground behind my rifle. I glided my point of aim off its eye, up its neck, and placed it just above its right shoulder, right over the heart. I couldn't help but smile, because today was my lucky day. This head would make a remarkable trophy. I brushed my index finger over the trigger and took a breath. Over the trees, the sun was setting. Everything bathed inside a golden glow. The air was crisp, and the heat of my breath rose and fogged the glass of my scope. I held it in, steadied my aim. Blonde highlights streaked in the buck's chocolatey brown fur. It was gorgeous, and his life was at the tip of my finger. Buck crept forward a little, quartering off to the left. Decentering? Yeah, decentering my shot as it angled itself. I saw a fifth leg protruding out its
Ah,
backside. Oh.
yeah.
I pushed that out of my mind. Focused. I floated my point of aim right back to its heart. Then I counted a few beats and shuffled in place to get comfortable. A few leaves crunched underneath me. The eye flicked up and then narrowed. I squeezed the trigger.
Within the half second it took the bullet to strike, the buck jerked left, then it stumbled, snapped around and darted back into the tree line, brushing by a faded sign that said "Radiation Zone, Keep Out." My eyes lingered on that sign, and on the empty spot in the trees. A sense of failure sank down into my stomach, like an anchor in water. Then, a burning sensation blazed into my chest. I exhaled sharply through my teeth. Stupid, worthless piece of... I had that shit. I had it. I had it. I had it. Why the hell did I move? I stood up, glaring at the oak tree, and winded my rifle back. I was ready to break it in half and chop wood while I was at it. I hated missing. I hated it so bad. A split second before my swing, I was struck with a realization. I paused, let the rifle drop to my side. That was a good hit. I'd hit that dead on. I glanced through the scope again, the fading light. A spot of blood was glistening.
Oh, so he did hit it.
Yep.
Okay. I sank down against the trees and folded my rifle across my lap. Beside me, my bag also leaned against the tree. I dug inside and pulled out my flask, took a drink, and began thinking. The buck was on the run, but I bet it didn't go far. I bet it didn't go far at all. But that being said, if I chase it immediately, I could scare it off, make it run deeper into the woods. That would be stupid. When this happens on a hunt, the standard wait time is 30 minutes minimum. I glanced up at a silver of sunlight, disappearing behind the trees. In 30 minutes, there would be no more sunlight. I would be tracking inside an unfamiliar forest in total darkness. Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
I took another drink, then started thinking about my dad. He'd hate this. To him, hunting was purely for sustenance.
Sustenance. There you go.
For anyone who doesn't know, we're reading this pretty early.
Yeah.
Shoot only. what you can eat, and nothing more. Have always disagreed. When you feel the rush, the excitement, the thrill of hunting an animal down and earning its life, it's unforgettable. It's like a high. It's immediate. Sounds like Dexter. It is a most
Yeah.
delicate exchange you can ever have with another living thing, even more so than sex. Oh, I'm not kidding. Nothing compares. But like anything else, novelty fades.
In my 20s, after Dad died, the thrill was gone. What once was my main source of happiness became routine. Sounds like Dexter. It's like when you start driving, when you turn the wheel for the first time. It's like you've discovered fire. It's magic. But let a year go by, well, like I said, it's just like anything else. And you can only regain the magic by finding a new way of doing things. And that's when I discovered this place, Enterprise Radiation Forest. During World War I, the US government used a small area inside this forest, in Wisconsin, to test the effects of radiation on wildlife. They wanted to observe the horrible ways it would alter the trees, insects, and animals. So if the US was ever hit, we'd know what to expect. The locals hated it. Politicians fought them at every turn to shut it down. So even though the project was set to be funded for 20 years, the money was cut after one. The site is no longer radioactive, but when I read that its wildlife was permanently altered, I had to see it for myself. Of course, hunting here was highly illegal, but that was all part of the fun. So that decided it for me. I wasn't mad that the buck ran, I was happy. This was all just build up for the main event. Now it was a real hunt. Sunlight or no sunlight, I was taking home my trophy. I set a 30-minute timer on my watch. Then I pumped another bullet into the chamber, loaded a fresh battery into my infrared scope, and for good measure also popped a fresh battery into my red bulb headlamp. When you hunt at night, you have to use red light because animals are less sensitive to that color.
30 minutes passed, and my watch beeped. I was good and tipsy by then. I slung my rifle over my shoulder and stared down the slope toward the blood. Now it was dark. A freezing pocket of wind snapped by and tore through my jacket. I rubbed my hands together, blowing into them, to regain feeling as I reached the bottom of the slope. I looked down at the blood. It was dark brown and had already
Coagulated.
coagulated. Okay. I knew the word, I just didn't know how to pronounce the word
That's fair.
because of the cold. A rancid smell permeated.
Permeated.
Permeated. God damn it. Upward, and several tufts of brown hair were curled up inside. These were good signs. Dark brown blood with an awful smell means a gunshot. A gut shot means a quick death. Honestly, I shocked it. Even made it even made it inside the woods. It guessed it was too close by. Several beads of blood trailed into the woods. I followed, passing by the warning sign, and stepped into the forest. I walked alongside a few more droplets, then the trail cut off. I scanned around, looking for a continuation. The red beam of my headlamp swept across trees that grew into one another, their trunks twisting into hideous formations in front of me. A maple tree broke out with hundreds of red capped mushrooms that erupted across its bark like a rash. Off to the
Off to the
right.
right.
Oh,
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 you want this?
yeah.
Or do I?
Let me finish this one.
Okay.
Off to the right, I spotted a leaf with several droplets of blood. I crunched in the direction of several yards, and I hit a second large patch of blood.
Based on how it was pooled, the buck probably stopped there to rest. That floored me. The fact that it could stop, rest, then keep going with a gut shot was an absolute marvel. This thing was tough as nails. Then I noticed something inside its blood. Several more clumps of hair were curled up, but they were a different color than before. This hair was red. It was the hair of a completely different animal. How was that possible? The odds of another wounded animal crossing this exact path was astronomically low. My best guess was fox hair, but I knew that was a stretch. The texture was off. I moved deeper into the forest. I had to be getting close. Had to be. I think something ate his deer. Sure enough, I picked up more trail and followed it a few yards. I stopped when something was glowing in front of my face. Oh. Stretched between two trees about 10 feet apart was a spiderweb so big it must have been taken an army to build. A network of asymmetrical patterns spiraled inward to form a web. In its center, a plump spider hung there, twitching inches from my face. It looked like it was having a seizure. Its legs were long like fingers, its skin was translucent, and inside its body I could see these little blue veins pulsing, expanding and contracting.
Oh.
I backed off slowly, and as I did, the spider's body quit quivering. It just dangled there, motionless, bouncing lightly in the wind. Then something burst underneath it, and hundreds, maybe thousands of baby spiders fled out.
Oh.
They crawled all over each other to get out from underneath their mother. Then they were spreading out, exploring the web.
That's fucking gross.
This is a great description of
That that's
spiders.
that's yucky. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I've been an outdoors man for a long time. I've seen a lot of crazy things in the wild, but nothing like that. That messed me up. I would hope so.
Yeah.
I made a wide berth. Berth? Berth?
Yep.
Oh.
I made a wide berth.
Oh, I made a wide berth around those trees and tried to forget what I'd just seen. I wish the buck would show up already. The more forest I saw, the less I wanted to be there. I continued. Oh my god, I am struggling right now. Okay, hang
Fine.
on. I continued along the trail, picking up a drop here, a drop there, and to my amazement, I had to walk another 200 yards before I hit a clearing in the trees. Then I found it. The buck's body lay flat on its side, crumbled into a heap. I studied its belly, watching for a rise and fall, but it laid still. Finally, it had dropped dead. "There you are," I whispered. A twig snapped behind me. I turned, sweeping my light across the trees. There was nothing. I turned back. Based on where I'd shot it, most other bucks would have folded instantly, if not several feet later. But this buck traveled the distance of about 3 football fields, with a hole blasted through its intestines. It was absolutely insanity. Absolute insanity. No, it must be built like an inbred linebacker. That's just what I've been picturing.
Yeah. That's a strong book
That's a
right
strong
there.
buck right there.
It's the fifth legs all about. I could only assume that the animals in these woods had to be unnaturally tough because people made them that way. People imposed forces on them that should have made life here impossible. They should have been erased. But instead, they adapted. That's what life does. Above all else, it wants to exist. Suddenly, I felt an immense respect for that buck. Then I felt guilty. I never should have come here. Life for these creatures was hard enough without me coming along and dipping my thumb in. Lesson learned. Once again, Dad was right. I kept realizing that the older I got. However, since I was already here, and since the buck was already dead, shouldn't I do my best to honor it? Commemorate its perseverance against impossible odds? The natural answer seemed to be yes. I'd bring its head home and mount it on the wall for all to see. I stepped into the clearing and while I approached, dug around in my bag for my bone saw, because I wasn't field dressing the entire buck. This wouldn't take long. I only needed the head.
I was gonna say, he's not gonna fucking eat the thing, right?
No, no.
Maybe he'd become a inbred linebacker if he ate it. Gain
For an extra
superpowers.
leg?
Yeah, grow an extra leg. Maybe an extra something else, like a tripod.
Ah! Yuck!
Before I found my saw, my headlamp flickered a little bit, which surprised me. It was on a fresh battery. Luckily, I had spares if I needed them. I stood over the buck and sensed something odd in how it was laying on its side. Something was unnatural about it. Then I realized that it wasn't laying on its side at all. Oh. It wasn't even there, only its skin. Oh.
Hell yeah.
The buck's skin was slumped over a rock, which created an illusion of mass. But its body was actually missing, gone. I could see now that its cheeks were hollowed out. Its stomach was stretched over the rock like a blanket over a chair. Oh. And its legs were coiled underneath. Coiled underneath it like ropes. My heart jumped. The buck had shed its skin. Damn.
Yep.
Then my light flickered, dimmed, and died. Everything turned black. I tore my headlamp off my head, clicked the button a few times, then I banged on it. That did nothing. I needed those batteries. I dropped to my knees, tore my bag off my shoulder, and fumbled around for the zipper. After a few passes, my fingers brushed metal. I zipped it open and fished around, feeling for the plastic packaging. The teeth of the bone saw nicked my arm, sending up a bright jolt of pain. My skin was now slick with blood. How sharp's the saw?
It's bone saw, bro.
Oh, I
That
guess
boy
that's
gotta be
true.
tough.
Yeah. I forced out a laugh to calm myself down. We're alright. Everything's fine. I'll just find those batteries, load them up, and leave simple and easy. Something moved behind me. I stood, snapping the rifle off my shoulder. I used my thermal scope to glass the area where I heard the noise. If anything was there, its body heat would be highlighted in white, but I only saw a landscape of deformed trees and a bed of dead leaves below. Something was definitely there. It just didn't want to be seen.
All my senses shifted into overdrive. My brain was scrambling, trying to take in everything at once. Attempting to pinpoint the threat. I was losing it. I took off in the direction I thought I had come from, while using my rifle scope to see which made running fast impossible. I stumbled over tree roots, dead branches, protrusions in the ground that hid underneath my field of vision. Then my foot struck something solid. I stumbled forward, dropping the rifle but catching myself against a tree. My hand squished on something. Then it began moving around. Ugh.
Ugh.
I shoved against the tree and threw myself onto the ground, then began feeling around in the dark. I had to get that rifle. I swept in front of me, turned left, swept some more, turned again, and struck the butt of the gun. I snatched it and shot back up into a run. Behind me, something also started running. Four legs pounded the ground with incredible speed. Once I heard it, I twisted around and fired off a warning shot to let it know that I was still a threat, that I still had power. When I turned back around, I hit something sticky. Ugh. I felt tickling across my face. Oh no! And inside my scalp. I glanced down and dozens of glowing dots crawled all over my jacket. I'd run through that spider web. I swiped at my body and tore at my hair, fidgeting to get them off, but their little bodies stuck on like glue. I tore into my backpack and yanked out the flask, then sprinkled whiskey on my head and smeared it around. Once the alcohol soaked in, the tickling slowed to a stop. That's fucked up. Drown them boys.
That's gross. I had totally lost control over this situation. If I kept running like this, I was going to die. I don't know these woods. Whatever was chasing me did. I needed somewhere to camp. I needed it to come to me. And I don't know about that. It doesn't
Yeah,
sound like a great idea.
get out of there, Chief.
I scanned around. Several yards away was a rock face. If I put my back against that, I could cut off at least one angle of attack. It wasn't much, but it was something. I sprinted over to it. The position was even better than I had initially thought, because a little hole was carved out at the bottom. A hole I could tuck my body into and wait. I dropped down and scooped it in back first, clinging onto my rifle. The fit was tight, but it was just big enough. I settled in, then scanned outside the hole, testing my sights. I was on my left side, as a tough angle. What? I was on my left
I,
side at a tough angle, but I was positive I could still make something happen. As soon as I had a visual, I'd aim for the head and take a shot. I'd already spent one bullet, so I had four more left. He only brought 5 bullets?
well, it might be like a Canadian story because you're only allowed like 4 bullets in Canada or some shit, or that maybe that's loaded in the gun at a time.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay. Where was I?
Chat right here.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to be quiet now. I knew its hearing was sharp. It heard me crunch a leaf earlier from 150 yards away. To catch it by surprise, I need to lie perfectly still. So I became
So I,
motionless, watching though my rifle, listening to quick thud of my heart. I was barely breathing. For somewhere off to my right, I heard the crunching of leaves coming from the right outside the hole. I wanted to scope in the direction. but I was scared that the shifting required to do that would make too much noise. Instead, I waited for it to move into my scope.
Footsteps grew closer. To check where it was in relation to me, I inched my eye out of the scope. A dark shape crawled into view. Only this wasn't the shape of an animal. It was the shape of a human being, crawling on all fours. Their head was hunched low to the ground, staring at something past the hole, but creeping right in front of me. Even though we were no more than 2 feet apart, it was unaware of my presence. I remained motionless. It was almost directly in my line of sight. I hovered my finger over the trigger. Then something tickled out of my hairline, and tiny legs prickled down the center of my forehead. When the spider reached the point between my eyes, it paused. Its body was glowing. In my periphery, my reflexes screamed at my hand to swat at it, to smack it dead. But that would mean an almost certain death for me. I had to remain perfectly still. As a humanoid creature crawled directly in front of my gun, the spider climbed under the tip of my nose, then hung down by a web. Needle-like legs brushed against my lips, and then walked down, exploring the soft flesh around my mouth. I didn't move a muscle. It traveled down my chin, then down my neck, and into the front of my shirt. Outside the hole, the creature was looking off to the left. Then it paused, like it was picking something up. Its ears were twitching. My gun was now aimed too far to the right. I was so frozen in fear, so paralyzed, I didn't dare move. It was too close. Its head turned toward the hole, by just an inch. I held onto the air inside my lungs for dear life. Then it turned another inch, and another, and then it looked directly at me, right inside the hole. Then it turned the other direction and crawled away, showing me its back. It must have been hunting me by sound. I let it get its distance, then I moved my eye back inside the scope. There it was, right in my sight. I drifted the reticle onto the back of its head. Its neck rolled left. I followed, then waited. After it stayed there a few seconds, my finger touched the trigger and began applying pressure. Something sharp stung my chest. The reticle veered and I fired off target. Its head twisted backwards, straight at me. That was the first time I got a good look at it. It was wearing my face.
Oh, the fuck?
It was a cool monster.
My hands trembled as I lined the reticle up again, right between the eyes, and I fired off a second shot. It ducked right, sprang back, and charged forward. I fired off a third. I cut left. Like I knew exactly when I'd shoot before I pulled the trigger. It darted within 5 feet of me. I aimed straight for the head and squeezed. Out the final bullet. As it sprang up from the ground, it landed head first inside the hole, twitching on top of me. Then it stopped twitching and its body became very still. A warmth started seeping into my shirt. It
Ugh.
was bleeding out. Oh, okay.
Uh,
I thought it was like
I was guessing
pissing
by
on
the
him or
blood,
something.
bro. Yeah,
I thought it was like pissing on him or something.
it's like seizure on him, just like pissing everywhere.
That's what I thought.
That's funny.
I struggled against the dead weight, and finally pushed it far enough from the opening to squeeze myself out. I stood to my feet, then doubled over and vomited. Then my legs gave out, and my knees, and I buckled back onto the ground. I had I had to struggle to pick myself back up. A pressure was building in my head. I felt like my eyes were going to pop. Once I was steady enough, I lifted the rifle to look at what I just shot. It was laying on its back, and I could see I tagged it directly in the heart. Completely by accident, it was a lucky shot, a miracle.
I'm now sitting in my wheelchair by the fireplace in my hunting room. Save for the light flickering off the fire. The room is dark because of the migraines. This is all my eyes can handle. Fire has a funny way of painting a room. I'm noticing things on my walls that I haven't noticed in years. The fire sparkles inside the dark eyes of the trophy mounts. It gleams against the shiny metal of my first rifle. It glares off the picture frames which display past hunting trips. All these things represent the good times. This room is an extension of myself. These relics are all pieces of me. As I look around, I wonder if I'll ever get to add anything else, or if my final addition has already been made. See, my health hasn't been so good these past few weeks. When I was stung, a poison was injected inside me that my body can't seem to fight off. He's gonna turn into Spider-Man. First, I lost the fine motor skills in my hands, so now I can't aim a rifle. Then I lost the use of my legs. I can't go to work or even leave my house without help. And now my vision is on the way out. The migraines are so bad I'm seeing double. When they flare up, it feels like two ice picks pounding against both my temples, over and over again. My girlfriend has stopped coming around. She won't even answer my calls. Damn! I guess she finds this all too depressing. I can't really blame her. Maybe I brought this on myself. Maybe this is punishment for treating hunting like it's a game.
Damn it.
If
Hang on.
so, what happened?
Alarm went off.
I couldn't hear it.
Okay.
Maybe I brought this on myself. Maybe this is punishment for treating hunting like a game. If so, I accept it. But I wish my repentance would lighten the pain, even if just a little. I'm hurting all the time now. All I can think about. I'm just glad Dad isn't around to see this. It makes me want to cry, thinking about him and our days we spent hunting together. When I close my eyes, I can still hear the sound of his voice as he took me hunting for the first time. He was so young then. We both were. There we were, on our elbows, peeking over a dead tree and studying this buck. It was a thing of beauty.
I had my rifle on it, and I felt him whispering from over my shoulder, telling me exactly where to aim, exactly how to breathe, to stay calm. My fingers were shaking so badly I could barely hold the rifle. But he told me that everything was alright. He told me not to be afraid, because what we were doing was all part of a cycle. It was an act of violence, but it would be followed by an act of love. Once I took the buck's life, he said our family would have food for 6 months. Dad's been gone a few years, but he still talks to me. The sound of his voice is so clear in my head now, it comforts me. It's like hearing the words of an angel. But what would he think of me now? All these mistakes I've made, these trophy heads on my wall. Would he forgive me? Mounted right in front of me is my own head. All three of my dead cold eyes stare back at me. They mock me and how I've lived my life. A sick paradox. It's like nature is getting the last laugh. What would Dad think of that? Sometimes I can't even explain to myself why I do some of the things I do. I look within, but the answers are in some place that's too deep and too dark for me to reach. Maybe I just don't want to look. Somehow, I think things will work out the way they're supposed to. Maybe my pain will be gone soon. Maybe I'll see my dad again. And by then, maybe I will have found some answers for him. Then, maybe he can find it in his heart to forgive me. I'll give him a hug, and I'll tell him how sorry I am. That he was right about everything. Then, finally, we can grab our rifles and go hunting together again.
That was pretty good.
The end. Yeah, that was good. Couple things. The ammo thing.
That is quite silly.
I found that a little weird, especially because he's going in a place he's not allowed to go, a radiation zone, and he knows there's gonna be like he knew there was gonna be creatures there, right? When he was going.
Yeah.
So like, why would you only bring one thing of ammo?
I guess you wouldn't really expect like a fucking monster, you know. He was expecting like mutated fauna, not like what the fuck that was.
Yeah, but I still just feel like it's a little weird, like for him not to bring more ammo.
That's fair.
But that honestly could just be a nitpick. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't really affect the story in any way, so.
I really like the spider, like the description
The spiders
of the
was sick.
spider queeking, bro, and then like the fucking baby's crawling over the web and it's all glowy.
Also, so the deer was the guy wearing the deer's skin?
I think the thing like ripped its skin off because it was hunting him, right? I think it knew he was going after the deer. It put it on the rock to fuck with him, and then when he went over to like get it, it was just skin, you know?
Well, that's what I was thinking at first, but he said the thing has 3 eyes. The deer had 3 eyes.
Oh, yeah, it was the fucking okay. It might have been wearing the deer's skin.
So I'm wondering if it was wearing the deer's skin, and like it was.
Yeah, and it was.
It was like maybe like trying to bait prey in or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think that's what
that's
they're
what
looking for.
I'm thinking, but I'm just wondering. I'm not sure if he like means it like that or if he means like it like changed. Like,
I think it was like a kind of like how skinwalkers are depicted in like a lot of the spooky stories where it just like it was wearing something's skin.
yeah, I don't. That's what I mean. I'm gonna have to ask him that because I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
It was still really
fair.
good. It actually reminded me of a time I went hunting with my dad, and
Did you come across the boogeyman?
no, we went hunting, and he never brought me hunting again after this. We
Yeah.
went hunting, and there was a deer, and I saw the deer, and he was gonna shoot it, so I started screaming, telling it to
What?
run.
You're a bitch.
He was like,
That's fucking
he got
hilarious.
so mad. He's like, "You're not coming again." I was like, "Oh."
That's fucking great. That's fucking great.
But
Run,
anyway,
dear, run! That's funny.
but anyways, that's all we have for today. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow with some more stories.
More spooky stories.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.